Happy super new moon in Scorpio. This Scorpio new moon in 23 degrees became exact at 12:07 a.m. New York time or 5:07 Greenwich Mean Time on Sunday, November 15th, 2020. This is the third and final of three consecutive super new moons, and it marks the beginning of eclipse season, as the first of a pair of eclipses occurs on the upcoming full moon in Gemini. Scorpio is my favorite sign to discuss because it is my birth sign. Scorpio is the shaman sign. It is the negotiation between the darkest darks and the brightest lights. It is an oscillation between hell and heaven. This, of course, has tremendous spiritual value, as every time you plunge into the depths of pain and suffering, you bring back with you invaluable wisdom for the journey ahead. I didn't come into this position as a healer and teacher just by reading some books. It's been part of my journey, but this hell to heaven and back shaman's journey for me, which still continues, has given me the wisdom that I share in these articles and videos and with my clients. Scorpio is the sign of death and transformation. Picture the death card in the tarot. If you live in a cold part of the world like I do, you can look outside now and see the dead leaves on the ground as winter approaches. Of course, the trees are only lightening their load in order to prepare for the deep freeze while giving space for brand new growth to emerge the following spring. Thus is Scorpio. It's all about letting go of what is dying or dead in order to allow for new growth to occur. So the most important thing you can ask yourself on this new moon is this: what dead weight am I still carrying? What is no longer working for me, even if it used to work for me? And that's a great question, those two questions to journal on. For most of you, there's something that is going to come up right away in your mind when you ask those questions. But if nothing comes to mind, ask yourself this: which beliefs, habits, perspectives, or tendencies am I still carrying with me that are holding me back from more success, more freedom, greater ease, or a better quality of life? As a sign of endings and beginnings and the ruling sign of the subconscious, this Scorpio new moon asks us to address the fears and feelings of low self-worth that are buried in the basement of consciousness. These fears and feelings of low self-worth are reflections of energetic blockages in the lower chakras. On this ascension path, we must work through and clear these fears and feelings of low self-worth in order to be able to more effectively channel through the divine energy and ground it through the physical vessel, which assists you in further anchoring your highest service mission or dharma. This super new moon in the fixed water sign of Scorpio also coincides with a rare Mars station in his home sign of Aries. He has ended his 2-month retrograde journey and is now turned direct. During this station, emotions are likely to be heightened, and there is a palpable feeling of unsettledness in the collective. People and animals have excess energy and want to get it out in some way. Exercising to your heart's desire is a great way to move this strong Martian energy through you. Hurricane Iota, the whopping 30th named storm of 2020 to occur in the Atlantic Basin, is expected to mature into a dangerous Category 4 storm, perhaps being nature's manifestation of this Mars station. Let's send prayers and protective light to the people of Nicaragua, Honduras, and El Salvador, who already experienced the wrath of Hurricane Eta just a few weeks ago. We are also right on the heels of the third Jupiter-Pluto conjunction of 2020, which occurred on Thursday. This conjunction is generally viewed as a very auspicious one, and we can harness its prosperous pull to press the gas pedal forward on our dreams. This new moon contains a powerful signature of new beginnings, and it is a fabulous time to launch new projects. As Mars starts to march back direct this coming week, we will feel a powerful drive to accomplish things. Use this time to get yourself reinvested in anything you've been putting off that involves doing, like your business or career, cleaning, organizing, fitness, etc. We can really recreate ourselves with the current energies here. Alchemize the darkness, the fears, low self-worth within, and write the absolute best future you can for yourself, and then use this energetic time to work hard towards your goals. The first step to shifting anything is to become aware of it, and there's a lot that is coming up to the surface for us to shift. Once that awareness is present, you can then have the opportunity to take conscious action in transcending or transforming those outdated energies. And here's some good questions of self-inquiry to journal on that have to do with this topic. What action steps am I willing and able to take immediately to shift what no longer serves me? Is there anything I might have to give up if I do take these steps? Am I really losing anything, or am I just fearing moving out of my comfort zone? Can I recall a past moment when I stepped out of a comfort zone and was later happy that I did? This new moon is also forming an auspicious sextile, which is a 60-degree separation, with 2020's Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto lineup in Capricorn. The better that we can get in touch with the needs of our wounded inner child, the better position we will be in to manifest the highest possibility of our service work and ascension path. And the wounds that the inner child carries within, when they are unhealed, they become what's called the shadow. Doing shadow work. As Scorpio season is a time when the unhealed parts of self, the shadow, can more easily be seen, now is a great time to discuss my views on doing shadow work. I have created a simple 5-step process for doing shadow work. It goes like this: awareness, acknowledgement, gratitude, alchemy, integration. Step 1, awareness. The first step on shifting or healing anything within is to become aware of it. It could be a pattern of behavior, thought, or speech. The truth is that most of these patterns are inherited from our parents or those who raised us. These negative patterns get imprinted when we are between the ages of 0 and 6, and our brains are in what's called theta state. 98% of the world or more goes through their life in almost a trance, a slave to these subconscious patterns they acquired at a very young age. As an awakening being, it is an absolute must that you become one of the few who becomes awake to recognize the self-limiting, self-destructive, and self-sabotaging patterns of behavior, thought, and speech that you acquired from those who brought you into the world or raised you. Once you become aware of a negative pattern, you can then shift it. Have you ever had the experience of observing yourself from above? You may have experienced this phenomenon while on a psychedelic journey, in meditation, or even in moments of daily life. Like, for example, occasions of deja vu can give you this feeling. Can you take a step back in this moment, take a deep breath, and observe yourself from above? Try it. Try it right now. Observe yourself from above. It's kind of liberating to do that for a moment. As you observe yourself, ask this question: what kind of negative patterns of behavior, speech, or thought have you had today that were self-limiting, self-destructive, or self-sabotaging? I bet if you're really honest with yourself, and perhaps looking at yourself from above can help with this, you can make a whole list. Good. Now that you've become self-aware, you can move on to step 2, acknowledgement. One of the paradoxes of life is best described by the old adage of what we resist persists. There are things we don't like about ourselves that we want to push away. That resistance is the exact thing that holds those patterns in place. The shadow parts of ourselves will continue to rear their ugly heads until we acknowledge their right to exist. One way to look at the ascension journey is that it is a journey from duality into non-duality. We must learn to acknowledge the divinity in all things, whether we prefer them to exist or not. The most difficult test of this is in the inner landscape. It's okay to prefer certain aspects, personality traits, or patterns of behavior, thought, or speech in yourself over other patterns in yourself, but you must learn to acknowledge the right to exist of the less preferred parts. So as an exercise, once again in this moment, I invite you to retreat to the space where you can observe yourself from above. Once again, recall all the negative patterns of behavior, thought, and speech from today, or any time in the past, that you can become aware of. Now tell these parts of you that they have a right to exist. Dear self-sabotaging pattern of communication, you have a right to exist. Dear limiting thoughts, you have a right to exist. Try that. They are welcome. These parts of you are welcome. And it's so hard to do this sometimes. We don't want to welcome the parts that we know we need to change. You are not pushing them away anymore. You are honoring them. Step 3, gratitude. It's time to take this process one step further. To truly step into non-duality, we must be able to find gratitude for all things, whether we prefer them or not. The inner landscape is a wonderful playing field to practice this lesson. Can you, in this moment, express gratitude for those self-limiting, self-destructive, or self-sabotaging patterns within you? If not for these patterns, you would not have had the motivation to become a more healed person than before. When you heal the shadow parts within, you send that healing back through time to heal your entire ancestral lineage, and you help to purge that shadow part out of the entire collective consciousness of humanity. Remember, this is both an individual and a collective ascension. What you do for yourself, you do for all, and vice versa. So to continue with this exercise, I invite you to now express gratitude for all the shadow parts within, and for the self-limiting, self-destructive, and self-sabotaging patterns of behavior, speech, or thought that they show up as. Step 4, alchemy. Imagine for a moment you're a master alchemist, and you're mixing together herbs to make a healing potion. You wouldn't be able to make your healing potion first without knowing what your ingredients are, right? And furthermore, if you were to be grateful for your ingredients, it would make a more powerful potion, wouldn't it? So once you've acknowledged and expressed gratitude for all the ingredients, which are the shadow parts, it's time to make a healing potion. It's time to create new and better patterns. From that space of observing yourself, identify what would be the highest vibrational practice, exercise, or response that would transmute a specific negative pattern. For example, if you identify that you have a pattern of seeing others doing things on social media and then feeling unworthy or unlovable, what if you make it a practice to consciously wish others well in your head or in the comments on social media and thank them in your head or in comments for showing you what kind of life is possible? Could you remind yourself that you're doing the best you can and congratulate yourself for how far you've come? These are the sorts of practices that alchemize the shadow parts into the gold of wisdom and, yes, a better life. When you transmute the self-limiting, self-destructive, and self-sabotaging patterns within, you can't help but to feel happier, more whole, and more fulfilled. The next and final step to this process is to integrate this work into your daily life. Step 5, integration. The most difficult part of this process, perhaps, is integrating it into your daily life. You might be able to alchemize a few of the patterns in this very moment, if you're doing this work right now, but can you sustain those new patterns going forward? That part isn't easy. As soon as you forget to be vigilant about consciously utilizing your new higher vibrational patterns of behavior, thought, and speech, you'll naturally default back to the subconscious patterns of the past. That's just how we work. The subconscious is the software program of our operating system, and until we change the software through repetition, the same software runs. However, with some discipline and practice, you can truly become a totally new person. Something that is really helpful is to use the word no with yourself. The instant you become aware that you are engaging in a self-destructive, self-limiting, or self-sabotaging pattern of behavior, speech, or thought, say the word no to yourself in a loud, clear voice, letting yourself know who's in charge. Then choose an action, pattern of speech, or pattern of thought that is more high vibrational. Finding gratitude for anything of any kind is always a way to increase your vibration in any given moment. And another method you can do is to say stop, and you can force a smile. That's a pattern interrupt. Stop, 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 and smile. Or no, and smile. Or no, and then thank you for this moment. Thank you for this moment. But it does take vigilance. It does take vigilance. It's something that I need to practice with as well. It's something that everyone needs to practice with, is having more of that vigilance and discipline to say no to yourself, to say stop to yourself when you're going into an old pattern that you know doesn't serve you. To expound on the previous example I just used, let's say that you find yourself meditating, scrolling through Instagram, and you start to feel jealous of someone who you think is prettier than yourself or living a better life, quote unquote. The moment you become aware that you're feeling jealous, say no to yourself or stop, force a smile, and remind yourself that this person is showing you what is possible in your life. Also taking a breath, saying no, stop, taking a breath. And then that gives you some space, because immediately after you take a deep breath, there's always a little space in consciousness. There's a little interruption to the habitual pattern of endless thoughts. And then you can choose a different pattern. So you can say, thank you for showing me what is possible in life. Thank you for showing me what I can be. I'm proud of this person. And then you give to yourself what you feel you don't have. So if you're looking at someone's post and it's triggering something like, oh, I'm not as pretty as this person, I'm not as rich as this person, I'm not as this as this person, whatever. Or this person looks happier than I've been today, right? Or this person has this or whatever. And that's the ego mind that'll go off and off and off, trying to compare yourself to others, trying to compare yourself. And that never goes anywhere, but makes you feel, it reinforces feelings of low self-worth. And the truth is, of course, when you're seeing people on social media, they're not sharing their entire lives with you. They're sharing the highlights, just as most people are sharing the highlights on social media. So it's not a true picture of their life. It never is. But we can take the parts that we say, you know what, I want that. That would be great. I would love to go to Hawaii. This person's in Hawaii. I would love to be able to go to Hawaii. I would love to do that. And you can say, all right, I deserve that. I'm going to do it. Someday I'm going to go to Hawaii. You know? And we give ourselves what we feel that we lack. So if it's feeling a lack of beauty, if it's feeling a lack of wealth, if it's feeling a lack of worthiness, if it's feeling the lack of a connection, if it's a feeling of a lack of a certain courage that someone else appears to be showing, whatever it is, strength, whatever it is that we feel as if we're lacking, if we give that to ourselves, say, no, I am strong, I am courageous, I am abundant, I am beautiful. That's part of that process of integration. And it's the repetition of it, which is why using affirmations are so powerful. And that's why I have almost all my clients use affirmations of some sorts. And I use them myself as well. If you keep being disciplined with yourself, you'll start to find that those negative spirals of behavior, thought, or speech that may have previously spiraled into very self-destructive behaviors like addiction or escapism no longer get even close to the depths of where they used to go before. You may find that you are immediately able to pull yourself out of the doldrums by being disciplined with yourself and choosing higher vibrational patterns of behavior, thought, and speech. Remember, you have free will to choose in every moment, and every moment is a new moment. When you aren't consciously choosing your actions, thoughts, and words, you are defaulting to those subconscious patterns that you acquired from your parents. And that's not truly free will, is it? You don't have to listen to any thoughts you don't want to. Newsflash. You can choose to formulate higher vibrational thoughts in your head. 95% of your thoughts are of the exact same theme. 95%. That's why it's important to learn to be vigilant. You are in control of what goes on between your ears. You are in control of your life. You are the main character of your movie. You're not a victim to anything, anyone, or even yourself anymore. This is what it means to choose your destiny. You get to choose which timeline you're on. Do you want to choose the highest possible timeline? Of course you do. And one of the ways to do this is to do your shadow work and alchemize all of those self-destructive, self-limiting, and self-sabotaging patterns within you into a new you who is wiser, more fulfilled, whole, and happier than ever before, regardless of your life circumstance. And one of the great things about Scorpio season, as we've said, is it will show you those aspects. They'll come out to be like, woof, this pattern of thought, behavior, speech is not good. This is something I've been doing since I was like 5 years old. And you'll be like, all right, what can I do to finally shift this? So use this process. Use this process and journal. Write down the patterns that you recognize that you want to let go of. You know, usually the full moon is the time to let go, but this new moon in Scorpio, it does have very much an energy of endings and new beginnings. It's such an energy of new beginnings for this new moon. So if you can write down the patterns of the past version of yourself that you want to let go of, and remind yourself, okay, what is the opposite of that pattern? So, you know, let's say in the past you've been someone who is really hard and mean to yourself, really mean to yourself. Okay, what is the opposite of that? Really kind and supportive of myself, right? So that's the new person. And just whatever we can do to continue to bring ourselves into being that new version of self that we need to be to move forward into our dharma, into the next steps on our God-given journey. And as you begin to practice this more and more, you'll naturally find others seeking you out for guidance and to encourage them to do the same. Are you playing small? Is there a certain area in your life where you feel like nothing is working or like you're paddling against the current? Maybe you're feeling underappreciated or like your talents aren't being fully utilized. Whether it is a job that isn't really bringing out the best in you, a relationship that feels stagnant, or your own business that seems to be stuck, is it possible that you're playing too small? Here's a few questions of self-inquiry that can be difficult to ask yourself and journal on, but are very important to help you to recognize where you're playing small. Is there an area in my life where I'm playing small? Or multiple areas? If so, what do I believe that I'm getting from playing small? Or what do I believe that I'm avoiding from playing small? Because a lot of times the reason that we play small, and this is something that I can certainly count many examples from my own life, is that we want to stay safe. And there's something about expanding, there's something about taking courageous risks forward that it gives us a feeling of lack of safety because it's new. It's a new experience, and thus we may tend to be unwilling to take big leaps forward. But when we do sometimes, and I can certainly think of times in my life where I've taken big leaps, and I know you can as well, where you take a big leap and it really pays off. You're like, whoa, that really actually worked. And then sometimes what happens is it works so well that we're like, oh, that's not me. And the subconscious kicks in and you somehow sabotage it, right? You somehow mess it up. You go back to kind of how you were before. That can happen. It's happened many times to me. But also there's been times where I haven't at all and I've just kept going forward. And it's like that for most people. And people like you who are listening to this who are obviously dedicated to the path of self-improvement and self-inquiry, you just have to be gentle with yourself and feel into life where are the opportunities that it's time to take a big leap, to take that leap of faith, and then when is it time to kind of play safe and just see how things play out. So if I was totally fearless while still using my logic to keep myself safe, how would I play bigger? So how can you be more courageous but still be reasonably cautious in ways that you need to be? And sometimes there can be a really nice happy medium that can allow you a sense of accelerating with things, but also not too fast where you're going to likely crash and burn or sabotage it. Sometimes there's that happy medium where you're taking steps forward and still being logically cautious about things. And then there's other times, and again, this is where your intuition kicks in, that it's time to throw caution to the wind and be like, you know what, I just feel this is an opportunity, I'm just going to take it, and you take it. But there's a time and a place for each. And sometimes the universe will kind of frustrate you. There'll be an area of your life that really isn't working, and you're being asked to take a bigger step forward and play bigger. And so if there's a certain area of your life that's really not working right now, ask yourself that question. Ask yourself that question. What if there's something kind of much bigger that I'm supposed to be doing? And I find this especially applies to career stuff. Often when I do readings for people and they're kind of really frustrated with their career, I kind of read like, you know what? If you, let's say you studied this, you got this certification, like you could double your income easily. But there might be a pattern, kind of a broken pattern in the subconscious of, oh, I don't deserve more money, for example. I don't deserve more money. And another question to ask yourself, what might it feel like if you allowed yourself to be unapologetically you in the world? What if you really just allowed yourself to be yourself? And it feels good to be ourselves. It feels good to just be you. Just do you. And just think about that question, because that helps you to find your way into where the universe really wants you. What do you really want to do with your life? Where do you really want to be? Who do you want to spend your time with? Be you. be yourself, and you'll find the universe opening all kinds of new doors for you when you're choosing to be yourself. And again, this new moon is all about old doors closing and new ones opening. So the more unapologetically you're just going to be you, your interests in life, it will allow the universe to open up new doors to new people, places, things, jobs, careers, who knows what. All sorts of magical miracles of abundance that can come to you when you're just being you. All right, so don't be afraid to play bigger. We're in a weird time economically, of course, and things are pretty uncertain for what's coming this winter. And it's different in every country right now. There's a lot of sectors of the economy where people aren't working again, and there's a lot of sectors of the economy where people still are working, and it's differing from country to country, state to state. So it's an uncertain time. However, it is a time to be cautiously optimistic about the potentials for building a more successful business, for stepping into a more aligned career, because ultimately things continue on. The world continues. The economy continues, and we'll get through this winter, however it looks like, however it ends up being. We'll get through this winter, and things will be better next year for sure. Things will be better economically next year because we're no longer going to have this crazy Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto lineup in Capricorn. So things can't help but be better economically next year. So it's a good time now. Again, the Mars direct motion, it's all about just moving forward with your dreams. So don't be afraid to just move forward with your dreams. Be cautiously optimistic about what opportunities await for you in 2021, especially when it comes to career and business stuff. All right. I hope this was helpful, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to speaking to you on the next fortnight. And feel free to check out my website. It's youaredivinehuman.org. If you're not familiar with who I am Matthew John. I'm a spiritual teacher, mentor, Starseed guide, medical intuitive, energy healer, and psychic. And I offer private sessions for people all over the world. You can find out more about that on my website, youaredivinehuman.org. I offer what's called the Spiritual Mentoring Program, which is super popular for people. You get 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 session packages, just depending on what you're looking for. So in Package A, that's Transformation Healing, you get 4 private sessions with me, including a 90-minute soul plan reading. And that soul plan reading, what I'm doing is I'm looking at your life plan, connecting in with your higher self and your spirit guides and my helper guides as well. We're reading what is your past life karma, what did you come here to do, what is your dharma in this lifetime, what are your soul's gifts, what are your soul's mission, what is your soul's mission in this lifetime, what can you expect for your future, what to look out for in your future. We'll go over any karmic relationships that you're interested in knowing more about, as in what happened in this relationship in a past life or several past lives that kind of shaped the themes of the relationship in this lifetime, and then how to alchemize that. And I'll also answer any questions you might have at all. If I can't find the answer in my own consciousness, I'll go up to the guides and get an answer for you. The second session, we do the angel energy healing session, the aura cleansing with a soul retrieval, and inner child healing, and an unhealthy attachments purging ceremony. So if it sounds like a lot, it is, and we do all of it within an hour and 40 minutes to 2 hours. And what we do is, for the angel energy healing, we're working on all of your chakras, cleaning out your chakras and upgrading them. We're cleaning out your aura of anything that shouldn't be there. The soul retrieval process is a wonderful shamanic process to draw back any parts of yourself that have been lost, isolated, or given away. And the other 2 processes as well are really, really transformational. The third session, we do the medical intuitive nutrition reading. So this is for your physical health. Going to do a body scan of all your organs, let you know how everything is functioning, let you know if you have heavy metals or candida or parasites or what's going on in your body. And we'll put together a protocol for you with herbs, supplements, foods, specific diet, exercises, affirmations, sound healing, subliminals, and much more that you can keep as a resource. You're going to get, within a couple weeks after, you're going to get this intuitive nutrition report as a resource that you can keep with you, and that you will be able to look back on and reference to know what is going to be the best things for your body to help you have the most magical physical health you possibly can. And the fourth session, we do the Starseed Discovery session, and that is really cool. You get to find out where your galactic origins are, and you get to journey there. You get to take a journey, a full-on journey to your home planet to experience your galactic origins. It's life-changing, it's unforgettable, and you get to bring back an activation, and you can have a much easier connection with your galactic guides after you have that experience of going there in the astral plane. You also get unlimited email support between emails. You get spiritual homework between each call. You get 3 bonus webinars, Putting Your Past in the Past, Mastering Your Intuition, Spiritual Hygiene, Cord Cutting, Grounding 101, and you get my ebook, Developing the Skills of Discernment and Intuition. That's all package A. Package B is all that, plus a 2-hour past life regression, and that what we're doing is you're traveling back in time to the most relevant past lives that your higher self says that would be helpful for you to experience to understand your current lifetime better. And that's a 2-hour past life regression. And in package C, you get all that, plus a future life progression. This is a journey into your future, which is really cool, on your highest possible path to discover what it is that you can look forward to. And you also get an additional 8 other bonus webinars with package C. So with package C, you get something like 30 hours worth of material to do on your own in between calls, and then all the 6 calls with me. And there's also package D, which you can upgrade to 10, 15, or 20 total sessions with me. You can check out some testimonials, both video and written, on the page. If you want to look into this, go to my website, yourdivinehuman.org, and scroll your mouse over private sessions. Click on the first tab at Spiritual Mentoring Packages. If the package doesn't work for you, I also do offer all these types of sessions a la carte. Okay? If you have any questions about the new moon, about any personal questions, anything at all that you'd like to get in touch with me about, the best way you can do it is go to my website, yourdivinehuman.org, youradivinehuman.org, all spelled out, and go to the chat tab. It's in the bottom right corner of the screen. It says, it has my picture, and it says Ask Matthew. Just click on that, type in your question and your email address. If you can't find that chat tab, it doesn't show up on all browsers, or I think if you have a pop-up blocker, it might not show up. But if you can't find it, just scroll your mouse over more on my website and click the Contact Me page. Go to the Contact Me page, and you can go ahead and send me a message there as well. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I look forward to talking to you in a fortnight. It will be the first eclipse coming up for our next full moon in Gemini. Super exciting that eclipse season has begun. And I'm wishing you a wonderful, wonderful, healing, transformative, peaceful new moon in Scorpio. And remember to be kind to yourself, to be kind to others, be kind to animals, and be kind to the earth. With love, this is Matthew John.